blustery day with a mix of sunshine and showers. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Football Show on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Boyle Sports. Now with same-day withdrawals to your Visa debit card.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play for my country again.
Do it then. What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
Welcome along to the Football Show. We're busy this evening. The latest at Goodison: Everton 0, Manchester City 1. Laporte with a goal just before half-time from Man City. Came from a set piece again, Everton fans. Kenny, I'm going to ask you about Zonal at some stage this evening. And Barcelona 0, Real Madrid 1 in the Copa del Rey semi-final first leg at the Nou Camp. Lucas Vázquez with the goal for Real Madrid away from home. It's the latest. So you've lost touch a bit with La Liga. Oh, it's gone.
Let's not go there.
That's upsetting you, isn't it?
Yeah, I do miss it, I must admit.
Yeah, they need to get that sorted out, don't they? So, Kenny, we're going to talk on the show this evening to Padraig Amond, a Carlow man, Newport County striker, scored a brilliant goal last night in the FA Cup, and Newport beat Middlesbrough 2-0. They will play Manchester City on Saturday the 16th of February at 5:30 in the 5th round at Rodney Parade.
Live and exclusive, I'd imagine.
That's going to be big. So,
right.
I mean, he's making a habit of this. He scored against Leicester City in the 85th minute in the 3rd round, scored a penalty winner. He scored in the 1st round as well. Last season, he scored the equaliser against Spurs in the 4th round, or sorry, it was the opener against Spurs in the 4th round.
Yeah,
Harry Kane scored the equaliser. Right. Yeah, then they went to Wembley. So he's having a hell of a time of it in the FA Cup. League 2, they're currently 14th in League 2. So it'll be good to talk to Padraig Amond. That's on the way.
Yeah, great story.
It is amazing, yeah. He's doing it against big teams. There's a few bits and bobs for us to talk about. Would you mind telling the podcast listeners what you've made of events at Goodison Park thus far?
Yeah, I think City have probably just about warranted a 1-0 lead at this moment. Haven't created a huge amount of chances, but they've looked the most likely. But generally, Everton have acquitted themselves very well. Attitude's been good defensive shape, out possession, working very hard, very industrious. All over the pitch. I think Bernard coming into the team has helped him. Very clever little operator off the left. Got good legs in the team. Calvert-Lewin, obviously. Theo Walcott and Dave has probably been the pick of the bunch in midfield. You know, good energy box to box. So they've been hanging around, and that's what they need to do, Joe, between now and the end of the game. Can't let this game get away from them. See, get that second goal. You'd imagine it's all over. Just got to dig in and hang around, and hopefully they can create maybe 1 or 2 clear-cut chances before the end of the game.
The PFA Player of the Year forms, Team of the Year forms have been delivered to all the clubs in the last few days. So we know it's a nightmare apparently to get players to sign these.
Used to hate that. Used to the door. The PFA rep used to walk into the change room with the forms in his hand. The lads used to anything within an arm show used to get thrown at him as soon as he walked in the door. Boots, muddy boots, like shower gel. Anything whatsoever used to get launched in his direction.
Am I wrong to think it's kind of fun to pick your team, especially when you're playing against these fellas?
Fun?
No? Yeah.
Fun? What do you mean fun? What type of fun? There's all sorts of...
Intellectually stimulating.
No, those type of people are kind of few and far between in the game of football.
Yeah, but it's about something they're interested in, i.e. who are the best players you've played against?
Not really. A few of the lads. Look, the lads generally it's done in about 2 or 3 minutes, I'd say. If the forms are left on are just thrown around the changing room, the lads scribble a few names. I mean, it's not a case of, it's a school class and everybody goes down and sits at their desk and like, right lads, an hour and a half to sit this exam, put down your PFA team of the year. Just doesn't happen that way. Okay. So yeah, I think generally the lads, it won't be a big. I've seen lads obviously take the mick in terms of putting all sorts of starting 11s in the.
Go on.
No, but lads will be lads like. But I think generally the lads will give it a little bit of thought, but not a huge amount.
Not a huge amount. Okay. So
self-deciding.
Well, listen, you've given us some serious thoughts. So don't put the graphic up because we're going to do this position by position. I presume, have you done the graphic with all 11? Okay, we'll put it up towards the end. So let's start here. Give me your rationale. Let's start with goalkeeper, Kenny.
Say me thing because I've forgotten it again. Is it going to get posted?
Written it down in front of you.
Well, I wrote down like a scribble version.
Right, okay. Well, no. We'll do it your way.
I've got a bit there then, yeah.
No. We're going to put your team up now and blast everyone at once and then you can talk us through it. Here we go. Here's the Kenny Cunningham team. You've gone for 4-4-2, have you? Old-fashioned, Kenny. So, Let's start with your goalkeeper, because the radio listeners are not seeing this team that we're seeing, so we'll keep them in suspense. Well, they're on the radio. How could they see it?
Oh, excuse me. No, I thought they're literally looking at it thinking, oh, that's outrageous. What's he thinking?
No, they're on they're listening on the radio.
Yeah. Well, I've kept the 4-4-2. I mean, this is an argument straight away in terms of how do you shape up. A lot of teams playing 4-3-3. I just like to get two centre forwards into my team high up the pitch. So David De Gea in goal, back four of Andy Robertson, Laporte, Van Dijk. I put Matt Doherty in at right back. Midfield two of Ferrandino and Declan Rice. Hazard operating off the left, Raheem Sterling off the right, and a front two of Marcus Rashford and Sergio Aguero. So there you go.
List off the players there who were quick, easy decisions that you made in the space of 90 seconds.
Van Dijk, Robertson, De Gea, Ferrandino, Rashford, Aguero, and Hazard, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. So Declan Rice, bit of thought about that one. Who to
I
put with Ferrandino?
I didn't initially, but the more I thought about it in central midfield, there just wasn't a standout player in there. You know, I think you think of obviously immediately think the top two, Liverpool and Manchester City in that area of the pitch. But I think De Bruyne, the amount of time he's had on the sideline this year. Liverpool, I think Henderson decent season. Fabinho took his time to settle. Keita again, some in different performances. Milner had a very good start to the season there in central midfield. I just feel Declan Rice, forget about the fact 19, 20 years of age, just come into the team. He played early on the season away to Liverpool, got brought off at half time. No reflection on his performance. He's one of the better players, but he was the one sacrificed. Had to stay out a couple of games after that, but as soon as Pellegrini reintroduced him into the team in central midfield, I just think his quality performance week in, week out has been as good as anything that I've seen in central midfield. So I stand by Declan Rice in midfield alongside Ferrandino.
You've Van Dijk there. Matt Doherty will come on to in a second. Van Dijk and Laporte. You rate Laporte highly? Yeah,
I like him. Yeah, it's a bit of everything. Very comfortable on the ball. Can set up attacks. Got a great switch of play from left to right from that left side of centre half position. We've seen him playing an orthodox left back position, get forward, even create a goal for Aguero at the weekend. Got a good physical edge to him. Doesn't get bullied too easy. We've seen a couple of lads from the Spanish league come over and find it a little bit difficult. The physical intensity he hasn't. I just think he's a very good all-round centre half.
So Matt Doherty and Declan Rice in the team.
Yeah, I'm going to put Matt Doherty in there. The players up against him, where I'd say, sorry,
Matt Doherty.
Matt Doherty.
Yeah. Let's keep it that way.
Matt Doherty. Look, you're picking holes. Look. Trippier and Alexander-Arnold were the other two up against him. Obviously, he's been on again through injury. Alexander-Arnold's been taken. He's very close. Trippier, I'm a big fan of as well, particularly is how productive he is in the last third of the pitch. But you can make the same argument for Matt as well. And I know he's been playing in a right wing back position of sorts. I got him in an orthodox right back position. But again, probably Matt for me at his most productive in the opposition half the pitch. And he's got a good goal return as well, which is a factor as well for a right back. Another 2 goals last night in the FA Cup. He's had more than a sprinkle of goals in the league. Key goals as well.
Brief tangent.
Yeah.
Seamus Coleman's on the bench tonight for Everton.
Yeah.
Matt Doherty's in your PFA Team of the Year.
Yeah.
Is that a difficult situation for Mick McCarthy? Does he try and get both them, Coleman and Doherty, into the team?
Well, that's the beauty. I think he's got the option of getting them both in. Matt's proven himself capable during his career so far of playing in it. Probably more so than Seamus in an orthodox left back position, although predominantly right-footed. I think Mick actually introduced him into the team in Wolves as a left back. So I think that's an option that Mick will be looking at, actually finding a place for both of them. I'm guessing Mick's going to go with an orthodox back four in the opening game against Gibraltar, and if that's the case, I would expect Matt and Seamus at this moment of time to play. Got the likes of Enda Stevens, Greg Cunningham, etc. Maybe even Rob Brady might make a play for the kind of left back position. There could be a fight out between Seamus and Matt Doherty for the right back position, but yeah, maybe if there has been a little bit of dip in terms of Seamus's form, still for me, Seamus's quality and his experience, the kind of personality, his presence within the squad means I'd still expect Mick to find a place for Seamus come the first game next month. But a great option to have Matt developing as he is and playing with a lot of confidence. What I like about Matt, he's got a bit of an edge to him. I've heard a few people say, oh, he carries a bit aloof, bum. I like it. It manifests itself in how he plays on the football pitch, demands the ball, and seeing as though he's come up from Championship football into the Premier League, he's absolutely, looks to me, he's absolutely loving it. He's revelled in it. He's enjoying himself and making a big contribution in a very talented Wolves outfit.
So you went for Rashford and
Aguero. Yeah, that's me front two. Yeah, I'm sure people will throw in Harry Kane, etc. But Aguero for me gets gets the edge, and I haven't gone on Google and had a look at like who scored the most goals this season,
Kenny,
who scored the most assists.
You're a football man. You don't need stats.
Yeah, I've seen enough. And for me, it's Aguero and Rashford for me. Some people argue there's a matter of the partnership that they complement each other. You're just putting your two best kind of number 9s on the pitch, but Rashford for me has been hugely impressive this season under difficult circumstances and what he's had to contend with. He's been impressive since he first came into the Manchester United team for me, and the last kind of month and a half has been absolutely phenomenal. So he's only going to get better. And Aguero for me, just I don't need to say much really.
Yeah.
It's difficult to argue against. Probably the wide midfield positions maybe. I think certainly he's up for debate. Salah in particular, obviously Liverpool fans might be screaming. Sané, I'm a huge fan of Manchester City, and I'd probably even throw in Son at Tottenham as well. Maybe a little bit unlucky to find himself maybe out of the team, one of those wide areas, but Sterling's kind of first couple of months of the season was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, his general performance was exceptional. His stats are off the chart in terms of goals and assists, phenomenal. And probably Hazard, that's one thing maybe that lets him down in terms of maybe goals and stats throughout his career. I think that's maybe where you could argue that one, Hazard. But I still feel as if Hazard, when he's on his game, and he generally has been this season, he kind of blows you away a bit. That kind of dynamism which he has, that close control, ability to manipulate the ball in kind of tight areas. He's one of the few players who can... It would really scare me. If it was a playing in the modern game, he'd actually scare me to have to play against him. One of those players I'd feel as if I just really haven't got the tools. A little bit like Henry, different type of player in terms of stature, but similar to Henry in terms of you're almost scratching your head. I don't know how to deal with this. I can't deal with this fella.
Yeah,
he's that type of player.
Yeah,
he's got those type of skills to really embarrass it.
He's and we were going to touch on it later on, but Chelsea are trying to throw 300 grand his way to keep him. Real Madrid want him. He's got a year left in his contract, and it seems like he's definitely starting to wonder, should I stay here for another 4 or 5 years?
He's been wondering for too long now. Make your mind up, just make a decision. He's got a year left in this summer. If he doesn't sign that contract, you get him out the door.
Yeah.
You get as good as money. They'll probably, even with a year left, they'll probably get close to maybe somewhere between 75 and 100 million for him, even with that year left to end his contract. That's how desperate clubs are to have him. They've got to reinvest that money. Ideally, keep him. They brought Higuain in. Whether Higuain's the answer long term up front for them, I think he's best operating left with 3. Seems more at ease there, as opposed to that kind of false number 9, which he's been asked by. His body language hasn't been great. I think that's where the criticism has come from. Sarri. I think some of it's been fair in terms of lacking a bit of personality at times in terms of leading the team. I think you can see that when he's played at that kind of false number 9. He's not getting enough. The ball can influence the game. Kind of head goes down a little bit.
Well, he's admitted publicly afterwards, I don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. But he's showing you that he doesn't like it. That's my point. It's okay not liking it, but actually getting on with it during the course of the 90 minutes and actually trying to impact the game. Now, it's not my favourite position, but I'm going to take the lead here and kind of lead the troops, show the right type of attitude, the right kind of body language. He hasn't always done that.
But he's in Kenny Cunningham's team. He's in Kenny Cunningham's team.
Yeah, so that's it.
I didn't realise you'd have him up quite that highly, Henry territory, in terms of no way to stop this guy. That's serious.
Yeah, well, for somebody with different tool set to me, and you would have seen me play as well. I wouldn't have been the particularly quick over the ground. I think that's key as the defender. Go up against Hazard, particularly 1v1 situations. Got to be quick. You got to be like dynamite, little pocket rock. You've always got to match him for me in terms of stature. You got to be able to go shoulder to shoulder with him. Kind of 6'2", athletic right back. Even the likes of Lilian Thuram, probably the best at the time. Not ideally suited to go against Hazard. Leans his shoulder into low centre of gravity. Very difficult to deal with that. You know what I mean? I tell you, who's been great up against him, Stephen Carr. If I had to pick a prototype of fullback to up against, would be Stephen Carr. Rapid, quick, small pocket, physically very strong, aggressive. That type of fullback, like, you know what I mean, to try and negate some of the skills which he has. But I love watching him play. But get a little bit fed up with him, the constant, well, totally happy, show me you love me, Real Madrid and me boyhood club, just go and sign for him if that's the case, and good luck to you, like, you know what I mean? I'd love to see him play out there to see, because with real pressure on his shoulders there, that's a totally different type of challenge at Real Madrid. Can't have the type of kind of off days occasionally kind of, you know, huffing around the place, which he has at Chelsea and he gets away with. Can't get away with that at club, at Real Madrid stature.
All right, Kenny. Thanks for doing your team for us. Good man this year. Prompt with it in. 20 minutes.
Anybody slating me there?
There's a few wondering about Salah.
Got to be a few Liverpool supporters not happy, like, but
no, there's a few saying top of the league, and you only have Robertson in there.
Van Dijk.
Oh, Van Dijk as well. You have 2 in. Salah, was he close?
Yeah, he would have been close. I just think.
Any text, JP? Any text given in about the team? Any text given out about the team? Can you hear me?
None. Oh, perfect. Thanks very much.
Can't hear me.
Oh, that means obviously none, clearly. The lines aren't busy.
Was Salah close?
I think Salah, but you had a quiet start to the season. I think the whole Liverpool front three, you know, they had a slow start. You can't just forget about that. If we're going to vote on Mo Salah from last year, well, absolutely. But if you're going to restrict it to terms of performances this season alone, I think there was a little bit of a dip, and I wouldn't be overly critical from Salah early part of the season. You look at the stats now; they kind of add up. Didn't play well the other night, as neither the front three did in a crucial game. But for me, Hazard's general performances have been very good since the start of the season. Obviously, he's chipped in terms of goals and assists, but that bit of a wow factor from Hazard this season. A couple of games, you just thought, oh my God, this is just can't live with this. Like a little bit, like Salah at times maybe last season, through periods last season, you looked at Mo Salah and you thought, oh my God, almost undefendable. It hasn't quite been at that level this season. That's a high bar, I know, from Salah. He might well finish the season top scorer, but at this point in the season, for me, I'd just give Hazard the edge.
Okay. No, I think you've argued your case well. I don't think the lines are not hopping just yet. There's a general sense people can see where you're coming from. I don't think it doesn't feel as...
That's probably boredom manifesting itself
maybe
more
it is.
so.
It doesn't feel as contentious as other years. We'll take a short break. Padraig Amond is going to join us in a few moments' time. Let's just check in at Goodison, though. Shane Pennington with the latest.
It's Everton 0, Manchester City 1, but it's the visitors who come closest to extending their advantage in this second half. Aguero with a bicycle kick saw his effort go inches wide of the right-hand post from David Silva's cross, and then Raheem Sterling has come on in the second half, got a bit too much space on the edge of the Everton box, and his deflected effort went inches over the top of the crossbar. Everton just made a double substitution to try and get back into this game. Sigurdsson and Richarlison are both on, replacing Gomez and Bernard. It's Everton 0, Manchester City 1.
There we are. Jackie Cal, by the way, who's a big Liverpool fan. Wijnaldum's been Liverpool's best midfield player this season. Kenny mentioned all the others. Wijnaldum.
Yeah, no, I think he has had a good season, Wijnaldum. I'm not as great as fan. I've got to be honest with you. I think he has had a decent season, but I think he has his frailties from a defensive point of view. I don't think he's a natural defender in there. I wouldn't totally trust him. I've got to be honest with you. I think he's got a good all-round game. Technically, he's very good. When he first came to Liverpool, he was almost an attacking midfielder. I remember making those late swords into the box, good header of the ball, scoring a few really good goals. And he's been kind of dropped into more of a kind of holding defensive position this season under Klopp, tail end of last season. And he has acquitted himself very, very well. I think he is a very talented player, but no, not for me. I think he's defensively, I see some weaknesses in his play which make me a little bit nervous of him in certain situations, which, yeah, so maybe people might say fair and deal to Declan Rice, a little bit defensively minded, isn't it, in terms of your midfield here? Not a huge amount of maybe creativity or maybe flair in there, which I think is fair enough, but for me it's an absolutely rock solid midfield here, and if I was playing centre half, that is exactly the from a selfish point of view, they're the two type of players, almost the two type of centre halves who can almost say to the rest of the team, from foreign full backs, off you go, attacking six.
These boys can look after the fires. So give me your 11 then before I go to ads.
Again?
De Gea in goal. People tune in all the time. De Gea in goal. You've Matt Doherty right back.
De Gea in goal, Matt Doherty right back, Laporte, Van Dijk, Andy Robertson. Midfield two, Fernandinho and Declan Rice. Off the flank, Sterling and Hazard. And a front two of Marcus Rashford and Sergio Aguero.
It's just like you're a manager reading the team out in the dressing room. That'd be some team.
I'd love you reading that team out.
Yeah. We'll take a break. Padraig Amond with us next.
Football on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Boyle Sports. Now with same-day withdrawals to your Visa debit card.
You couldn't make it up. News Talk's weekly topical panel show where news and comedy collide is recorded in front of a live audience every Thursday evening.
Excuse me, madam, we found 23 gerbils, and she's like, uh-oh.
Each week, a host of top Irish funny folk pull apart the stories making the headlines and reassemble them in a pair of surreal and downright silly performances.
Bunny smashed the Land Rover. Oh, our insurance is going to go right up.
For free tickets to the recordings of You Couldn't Make It Up on Thursday evenings in Tramline in Dublin, just go to newstalk.com/events.
In all fairness, it's the first time we'll ever get an apology from any banks here in this country.
You Couldn't Make It Up with Pat O'Mahony
In partnership with Tesco.
on News Talk.
Football Index is reinventing football betting. You can buy and sell the world's top players. Their value may go up and down, but it's not over with the final whistle like a regular bet. Football Index reinventing football betting.
Start building your portfolio today at footballindex.co.uk or download the app now. New customers only, minimum deposit and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
At AppliancesDelivered.ie, we sell all kinds of washing machines, but there's one model for $179.95 that comes with something very special, a 2-year warranty. And why is that special? Well, for $179.95, most retailers will only give you a 1-year warranty. But AppliancesDelivered.ie is not most retailers, so we double the warranty and give you 2 years. It won't make laundry more fun, but the price should put a smile on your face. T's and C's apply. Check it out at AppliancesDelivered.ie.
At Carphone Warehouse, when you switch, you save with the best deals across every network. Save up to €129 compared to the network stores and get the iPhone 6s for free or the Huawei P20 for free, both on a €30 a month plan with all-you-can-eat data when you switch to 3, but only when you switch at Carphone Warehouse. Don't overpay. Switch today. Any network, any phone, any plan. Only Carphone Warehouse. T's and C's apply. Offer subject to a 24-month contract.
You should definitely call your ex at 4 in the morning. Sure, she hasn't heard from you in ages.
I think you should tell your boss exactly what you think of her. She'll appreciate your honesty.
That boa constrictor would make a great family pet. The kids will love it.
Not all advice is created equal. At financialbroker.ie, we're the experts in professional, impartial financial advice. So for advice on life insurance, pensions and investments, and everything in between, find your local financial broker at financialbroker.ie.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Back towards Amond, who pulled into space. Oh, what a great goal that is! Padraig Amond! Well, that was right out of Premier League in terms of class from Padraig Amond. Went from the training ground, brilliantly put away. 2-0 Newport. John, that was little sort of sensational.
Magical. Remember the old Teddy Sheringham one for Spurs used to do this? Used to come away, nobody's marking him. Oh, that's a magnificent finish on the turn. He makes perfect contact with this Amond. The ball from Wilmot is the perfect weight, and that's a great spin and finish right in the postage stamp.
Yeah, extraordinary stuff. Padraig Amond, you're very welcome.
Good evening, lads.
Evening, Padraig. This
is getting a bit ridiculous now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something else at the moment. It's brilliant. Look, we're loving every minute of it, and long may it continue.
I think everyone's very familiar with your story at this stage because you keep scoring these ridiculous FA Cup goals. But if they're not, so you're playing with Newport in League Two. Last season, you scored against Spurs in the fourth round of the FA Cup. This year, you scored the winning penalty against Leicester in the 85th minute, and you were on OTBAM. And I pretty much think every other radio show, podcast and newspaper in the country, you were definitely enjoying your time back in round 3. And then last night against Middlesbrough, you scored that second goal, and it's Manchester City next on the 16th February against Rodney Parade. So, geez, the FA Cup has been very good to you.
Yeah, it's gone all right so far, and it's just one of those things that we keep lifting our performances forward, and we just keep defying the odds, I think, and no one's given us a chance in a couple of the games. The funny thing is that the two games, we played Leicester and Middlesbrough in the 3 games because the replay as well. We deserved to win those, but the first 2 rounds against the Met Police and Wrexham, we probably should have been out, if I'm being honest with you. So the Met Police are probably looking at us going, how are they beating all these teams and they struggle against us? And we got battered against Wrexham in the first game, and then obviously we beat them in the replay after they got a man sent off early. But yeah, the last 2 performances or 3 performances from us have been, proved that the victories have been very well deserved, and they're not being flukes at all.
Yeah, it's going to be a long way from Metropolitan Police 0, Newport County 2 to Pep Guardiola and the lads rocking up at Rodney Parade.
Yeah, that's it is a bit surreal. Like when you just sit back and you look at it and you see. We were chatting about when we had Leicester in the 3rd round. There was only 1 game in between the Met Police and Leicester. Now, obviously, the Met Police are a few divisions below us, and now we're playing the champions of England. So. It's been a bit crazy in the last few months.
Padraig, we were trying to watch as much as the game as we could last night. Me and Joe were working on the radio here in Dublin. Weather conditions were absolutely atrocious, but of the 2 teams out in the park, you seemed to handle the conditions very well, from what I could see. Didn't overplay in the wrong areas of the pitch. Got the ball back to front as quickly as possible. Got the ball into wide area. Got some good quality delivery into the box, and really kind of smart play, I thought, from you, certainly from the chunks of the game that I watched. What was the actual game plan going into the game yesterday?
Well, we knew obviously that it was going to be a tough game first of all, but with the Leicester game we started on the front foot, and we grew in confidence from there, and once the crowd got behind us, we probably averaged about 3,500-4,000 a game, and last night it was just under 7, I think.
Yeah,
and it was the same with the Leicester game, and that is a big factor in it for us as well. Obviously the conditions as well. The game plan was to go out there, keep the ball as far away from our goal as possible, and don't make mistakes there, and just like you say, play the conditions. Try to be on the front foot from the beginning, and let Middlesbrough know they're in a game, and at least if they did win the game, at least make them work hard for the victory.
There's a feel different, Padraig. The atmosphere, can you sense it? FA Cup under the floodlights last night, kind of big crowd, even cameras to an extent. Does the energy feel a little bit different inside the stadium, and do you sense that the players are actually feeding off it?
Yeah, it does massively. It shouldn't make a difference, but it does in and for some reason I don't know why that is, but it is. They are special nights. I think nighttime games are always special. People are waiting around all day for the game. They're in work, they're coming home, they're excited for the game. And that's obviously it all built up to yesterday. And, thankfully we did, we played really well last night. The pitch looks not the best. But there's been 55, 56 games on that this season with the 2 rugby teams we share with. So it wasn't too bad for that, but it actually plays all right. There's a true role on the pitch, so credit to the ground staff for what they've done with it. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think Middlesbrough fancied it last night. We were out warming up. We were out warming up for about 10-15 minutes before they came out, and we sensed that. And we had a little chat amongst ourselves and looked. It said, lads, if there's ever a chance we have of making a name for ourselves and getting to play against Man City, because that opportunity doesn't come around very often for a League 2 team.
Well, even Messi can't do it on a wet night in Rodney Parade, it's not the most fun place to go to. So I'm sure, look, it was it's kind of a miserable evening for them, and they're away, and they're probably thinking we should have won the first leg, and you can kind of see how it was just hassle for their team, even though it is an FA Cup 4th round and such a huge occasion. Can we talk to you about your goal? Because that must have been an unbelievable moment. So clearly it looks like it's straight from the training ground. Is that a move that you've done before on the pitch? Was it just dreamt up this week in training, or is it kind of one that you've had in your locker for a while now?
No, we've had that one in our locker. We've done it a couple of times. The majority of the time it's happened on the other side. I won't tell you the other player that's supposed to do it on the other side, just in case anyone's listening. But I think Wayne Hatswell, who was the assistant manager, he draws up the set pieces, and in the FA Cup so far and in all the league games, we've had some quite inventive ones that have come off or just about come off, whether the keeper's just made a save at the end. And we work really hard on it. And look, when you're a team that's playing someone 2 divisions above you, or a Premier League team like we have in the last couple of rounds, set pieces are massive, because it could be the best chance you have of scoring.
Yeah.
It might be the only chance you have of scoring. So we have to work really hard on them. And we worked really hard on them. We had a few different ones in the first half that we done. And then on half time we switched it up and said, look, first one we get either side, we're going to do this.
Right.
I guess for me it happened.
Yeah, no, it sure did. Like, what a finish. I guess your first thought when that ball comes is probably stay calm, do not blast this over.
Yeah, it's funny because the night before, because I coached the under-16s at Newport, I was coaching the striker to do that kind of movement for a ball that's being cut back, and telling him all the things you should be doing. And when it was coming across, it's weird how everything slows down, and in your head all these things are coming. You're like, oh, please don't mishit this now, after trying to tell that young fella what to do last night. Don't make a mistake here. But then the second I touched the ball, time completely slowed down, and I knew it was in before anyone else did, and it was right in the top corner. It was the sweetest I've ever connected with a football, and probably the best goal I've ever scored.
It was outrageous. What a lovely millisecond, and it must feel like a bit longer, where you know, just based on the feel of the ball on your boot, that this is going in, and you're almost waiting for the crowd and everybody else to realise it's going in too. You're the only one who knows. That's kind of heaven, really, for those few seconds, milliseconds.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. I think if you speak to any striker or anything like that, who's, I'm not saying used to scoring goals, but you just know sometimes when you've hit the ball, or when you connect with it, you just know it's going in. And you've the best view of it all, because you know you're the one that's hit it. And yeah, that is a split second, which feels like, it does feel like about 3 or 4 seconds, and it is, if you could bottle that feeling, that's one of the best in the world.
What's it like, Kenny?
I wasn't going to enter the conversation for obvious reasons there, Padraig. Padraig's pretty impressive goal scoring record generally you have throughout your career. Has the phone started ringing yet since the game last night in terms of requests?
He's not going to tell us.
Back home for tickets for the next round.
I thought you meant transfers. Sorry.
No, I'm literally talking about demands. People crawling out of woodwork. Padraig, any chance for an extra couple? I don't want to ask, but
yeah, there's been loads of requests. Look, I've just pointed them all in the one direction and said, look, the best thing to do is ring the club, because it's going to be a mad week as it is for the players, you know. And I think we've all had a chat. We were in training this morning. We all had a chat about it, tickets and stuff like that. And it was a case of just pointing towards the direction of the club, because we don't, not that we don't need that distraction during the week, but there's going to be a lot of requests for it. So yeah, I'll have quite a few over, family members, and there was a few over last night as well, family members and friends.
Right.
So yeah, hopefully there'll be a good few over anyway. I can try to get as many tickets as possible, but it's going to be a bit mental for the next 10 days, I think.
It's not an easy thing. I know we're kind of laughing about him, and Padraig is there, but you do have to be a little bit careful. I think the whole thing doesn't you get carried away with the whole thing. You know, you're trying to
stop. You should get some. Get those white Armani suits.
Well,
I'm talking about the tickets.
White Armani suits.
Yeah.
Walk the pitch pre-game. Let's read this in. Let's have a good time.
I don't want to see you swapping jerseys now with Leroy Sanya walking down the tunnel at half time. Don't let me down now. Make sure he's chasing you. Make sure he's chasing you at the end of the game.
I don't think we can swap jerseys. We've only got the one.
No, but sorry, it is a serious point. I mean, I think Roy Keane in his book talked about his first FA Cup final with Nottingham Forest, and the demand for tickets being a real energy drainer.
Yeah, it can be, because you want to look after everybody, and it's a big occasion, as Padraig will be experiencing now, and it's a great thing actually. You know what I mean? Everybody shines a light on the family, friends, and it's a wonderful thing. You want everybody to enjoy the experience just as much as you are, but to a point you have to kind of detach yourself from it, because at the end of the day there's a game to be played, and they've done so well. Padraig's team done so well to get themselves to this point. You know, they want to if they do go out and if it is to be against Manchester City, anything can happen in football. We know against that.
Yeah.
But you want to go out on the right terms, putting a real show and a performance, and putting a performance you can be proud of, regardless of the result.
Yeah, I guess that's very important to you, not to go out and just make a day of it. Obviously, you have to be realistic. On last night, so geez, an extraordinary night for you. Your goalkeeper Joe Day had an interesting evening.
Yeah, it was. His was a little bit more interesting than mine, I think. His partner Lizzie went into labour, and she gave birth to twins last night, which congratulations to both of them, and Lizzie and the twins, Sophia and Amelia, are doing well. So it's that's just a brilliant moment, and look, that adds to the story as well. I actually didn't realise he ran off at full time. I didn't see him.
Right.
He was gone that quick, but
because there's a quote there's a quote from your manager saying, when he was talking to BT, the professional that he is, Joe turned off his phone. I didn't hide it from him, believe it or not. As soon as the game was over and we'd won, he said, Gaffer, thank you so much, can I go please? I said, of course you can, go, and off he went into the night.
Yeah, look, I've seen the video of it today as well. I've seen him running down because he was on the far end of the pitch, and I've seen him running to the manager first, then down the tunnel, and within a half an hour or 45 minutes, we had he'd sent messages to the group chat, the players' group chat and stuff, of the picture of him with the twins and stuff like that.
Amazing.
Which is it's brilliant. Look, it's a great little story, and like the most important thing is that they're all doing well, and it is quite a nice happy story for them.
As Kenny says, your goal record is very, very nice. 18 goals for Newport so far this season. You started out at Shamrock Rovers. I was reading, I hadn't fully realised that. That's where you came through, and then...
Yeah, I was at Shamrock Rovers from the age of 11.
Right, great.
Travelling up and down from Carlow. Played there. I went to Home Farm for a season in between, and then Crumlin United as well. But then I was from the age of between 11 and 21, really, with Shamrock Rovers, bar those 2 seasons. Then I moved over to Sligo and kind of kicked on from there.
Yeah, and you've moved around a bit. Yeah, Grimsby, you had a brilliant season there, 30 league goals in the National League, got Grimsby up to the English Football League. You like Newport, you like the area, does it feel like home?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it here. Obviously, I'm from Carlow, a country fella. So, I was based in Manchester for 7 years before this, so I was right in the city, which is quite busy, for someone who lives in the countryside. Not really used to it, but being down here in towards Cardiff way, I'm outside of this, about half an hour outside Newport and the city as well, in a little village, and it feels more like Ireland, if that makes sense to you. There's more fields about and stuff like that. It's funny little things like that, just driving the train, and then you're not constantly just sitting on motorways. When I was in Manchester travelling to the clubs, just sitting on motorways all the time.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I'm really enjoying it at the minute. Things are going well, so long may it continue.
Yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned you're doing a bit of coaching as well with underage players. I'm sure that 16-year-old striker was watching with interest. You can definitely go back to him now and say, look, I told you. I told you.
I go back tomorrow night. I can go back with my head now. That's why I said, like, that little split second that you have where you're thinking, just don't miss-hit it,
Yeah.
After giving him all the pointers the night before. But yeah, no, I enjoy the coaching side of it.
Good.
I've done my coaching badge. I've done my A licence as well. So, I really enjoy that side of it, and it's interesting to work with the kids as well, because you can learn an awful lot from them. And I think doing my coaching badges has actually helped me as a player as well, because you look at things differently. I've played a little bit more this season in centre midfield,
right?
Dropping back in and just knowing the areas to drop into, and I think you pick a lot of that up in the coaching courses and just watching games differently.
As a matter of interest, so some of the advice you're giving this 16-year-old when the ball's bobbling towards you, and maybe in a milli of a millisecond, some of the advice is in your mind. It would be interesting in a parallel universe to see, would you have hit the ball as sweetly if you hadn't been working on that very thing with your man the night before?
Yeah, it probably would be, but no, luckily I do a little bit of work like that in training myself.
Right.
Try work on all types of finishing, whether it's with my head, my foot, my knee, shoulder, chest, everything. Because you never know when the ball is going to bobble in the right areas, and you have to be ready for it. So, so yeah, but it would be interesting to see that. All right.
Stay with us 30 seconds. There's a full-time report I'm sure you're even more interested in than usual now. We'll go over to Shane Pennington at Goodison Park.
Everton 0, Manchester City 2. Pep Guardiola's side replaced Liverpool at the top of the Premier League after Merrick Laporte's header in first half injury time and Gabriel Jesus' late header proved enough to see off Everton. The Frenchman headed home David Silva's free kick and Gabriel Jesus headed home a late second to give the champions a deserved victory, and it really should have been more comfortable. Gundogan, Sterling and Laporte all missed good chances to extend the advantage, but it didn't matter in the end as Everton never really threatened, as once again their defending from set pieces cost them dear. Everton 0, Manchester City 2.
There we go, City 2-0, top of the league.
Looked a bit leggy tonight, Manchester City. I think the season might be catching up with them. Good news for Padraig and the lads.
I saw your manager joke will have everyone behind the ball. I mean, I'm sure he won't quite do that, but he was very respectful of what you're up against, very realistic, was talking about like Pep Guardiola being, you know, his hero along with Jurgen Klopp, really. So, like, that's what you're kind of talking about. The experience of Spurs last year, was it a little bit strange face-to-face with household names? Do you get a touch starstruck at any point in the whole experience, the whole evening? I'm
not say starstruck or anything like that, but it is different than what you're used to day to day. I remember the Spurs game last year and the pitch was a bit bubbly again. And after about 10 seconds, I think Vertonghen wrapped the ball in as hard as he could at Harry Kane. And his first touch, he did a one-touch pass out to the wing to Sissoko. And after 10 seconds, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a long night. You know, the quality those players have is unbelievable. You know, look, let's not make any bones about it. We're playing the Premier League champions at the minute and, you know, probably one of the best teams in world football and they have some of the best players in the world as well. It's going to be a difficult game. We're going to need a lot of things to go right for us on the day. And we're going to need a lot of luck as well. But at the end of the day, anything can happen. You know, it's an opportunity for us to go out and just, first of all, make ourselves proud of a performance we put in. But then we have to go out on the pitch and believe that we can get some sort of a result as well, because otherwise there's no point actually turning up because, you know, as Kenny said, the occasion can just go past you then, and miracles do happen. So why not? Why can't we possibly be one of those miracles?
Absolutely. Well, listen, the very best of luck. It's a long way from Carlow to Match of the Day and FA Cups and Manchester City. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one. That's the 16th of February, 5:30. So you're under floodlights again. You're under lights again. So, I mean, it's just going to be amazing. What's the capacity at Rodney Parade?
I think last night it was sold out. I think it was just under 7,000. But
right.
They're on about putting additional seating in behind the goal. They've done it last year for the Spurs game and I brought it up to about 10,000.
That'd be just for your extended family, Padraig, then.
It could be, yeah. By one way of getting tickets easier, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so look, the extra 3,000 people in the stadium will be a big difference for us, and it did make a big difference against Spurs last year, and look, hopefully we can put in a performance like that again.
And whose family? Who'll be coming over, or who was over last night?
Well, my fiance's brother was over with his girlfriend, and another friend of ours was over as well. So there was a few there, and I had a cousin of my father's cousin who lives over in Wales as well. She was there last night, so it was brilliant to have those people there for obviously one of those magical nights.
Yeah, well, listen, well done. I mean, what a goal to score. It was just phenomenal, and keep it going. I guess enjoy the 16th of February. We'll probably chat to you at some stage around it, or someone will be in touch. I'm sure lots of people will be looking to see how you get on, but congrats again. Amazing stuff. Enjoy it.
Thanks very much.
Great on you, Padraig. Good luck.
Padraig Amond there. Newport County striker, 18 goals this season.
Scored a lot of goals.
Yeah, a lot of goals.
A lot of these players, Joe, around the leagues, Irish players, not particularly
players,
young Irish players who've gone over and forged their career and kept at it out of spotlight. No mention, you know, possibly without those that goal last evening, people still be scratching your head. Padraig Hill, but
yeah,
you know, at least a moment like that last night actually shines a spotlight on Padraig's career and what actually he has achieved, the qualities that he does have. And it's great. It's a great thing because a lot of these lads are working hard, they're grafting. Listen to him there. Obviously very dedicated and takes his profession seriously, thinking ahead to life after football in terms of the coaching he's doing with the young school kids there. That's great. And even part of his coaching development, what he's experiencing now as a player, what he did last year, Spurs, this year, Leicester, Middlesbrough now, Manchester City, that'll help him as well, even in terms of his football and knowledge, his development as a coach. going forward. So, yeah, it was a really impressive interview we gave there.
Yeah. He's 4 under-21 caps as well for Ireland.
For myself.
Do you?
Yeah, can't be much more than that, yeah.
He had his 4 in 2008. So we'll wish him all the best. That game against Man City is on Saturday, the 16th of February, 5:30. Back in a sec.
Off the ball on News Talk.
At AppliancesDelivered.ie, we sell all kinds of washing machines, but there's one model for $179.95 that comes with something very special, a 2-year warranty. And why is that special? Well, for $179.95, most retailers will only give you a 1-year warranty. But AppliancesDelivered.ie is not most retailers, so we double the warranty and give you 2 years. It won't make laundry more fun, but the price should put a smile on your face. T's and C's apply. Check it out at AppliancesDelivered.ie.
Class, listen up. Mental maths. If the school won €50,000, how could we spend it? Sean?
A new playground, rugby balls, or a rugby pitch on the moon.
Why there?
Plenty of space.
Spend €30 in Aldi and collect Irish rugby stickers for your primary school's chance to win €50,000 for playing facilities. Aldi, official supermarket of the IRFU. Full details at aldi.ie/play rugby. Promotion open from the 28th of January to the 7th of April 2019.
If you're thinking of buying a residential rental property, ICS Mortgages can provide an excellent range of flexible buy-to-let mortgages, including interest-only terms of up to 15 years. We'll also help you to refinance your existing portfolio and grow your property investments. Call 1890 427 427, visit icsmortgages.ie or contact your local mortgage broker. ICS Mortgages, the property investor's choice. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply and are subject to change. The entire amount that you have borrowed will still be outstanding at the end of the interest-only period. Dillosk DAC, trading as Dillosk and ICS Mortgages, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Trevor saying, I wonder, is there a fear factor after seeing what City have done to Burton? And a few others as well, yeah. City aren't afraid to give Leicester teams a bit of a spanking, as we've seen of late.
I'm so pleased it's at home. It's the first thing I asked when I heard it was City. I'd
be worried.
Just for that reason, I would have been worried a little bit if they had to travel to the Etihad.
Great to hear Padraig on the programme. Great sportsman, a lovely chap, has never received the recognition he deserves. Any chance he will line out with Carlow in the Championship is a question. He's a big GAA man as well in his day. Padraig was the Rovers Young Player of the Year back in 2008. If Kenny has a vote, who would he have as the Premier League Young Player of the Year? Carl? Declan Rice, obviously.
No, not. I think that's a strong category, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, Rashford comes into the category there as well. Young Player of the Year. I was asking...
What age is Robertson?
No, he'd be over. I think it's a 23, 24, the cut-off point. I mean, Sane's still eligible Young Player. You forget, I mean, there's some outstanding candidates. Young Player of the Year. I like the lad, actually, at Crystal Palace, the fullback who's come into the team this year, the young boy.
Oh yeah, great going forward as well.
Yeah, really good talent. There's some outstanding young talent there. That's not an easy decision in terms of young Player of the Year. I haven't even spoken about Player of the Year. I mean,
who's your Player of the Year? It'll depend. Will it depend to some extent?
It's not, because it's your vote now.
Who wins the league? I know, but it's crazy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that's the point. From a practical point of view, this is going to be decided in the next week to 10 days. All the forms are going to be filled out.
It's very hard to decide now. Who are the leading contenders? What's your team of the year then? Van Dijk is certainly...
I think Van Dijk, yeah, for the first time in a long period of time, is a strong argument for defender. Yeah. I can't remember the last defender who's in serious contention.
I haven't loved him in the last game or two or three, but generally he's been absolutely phenomenal. There's your team of the year up again. De Gea, Doherty, Van Dijk, Laporte, Robertson, Fernandinho, Rice, Hazard, Sterling, and then up front Rashford and Aguero. I think Van Dijk out of all them.
Yeah, do you know, it's an interesting one because in terms of, obviously, your Player of the Year would have to come out of that, but I don't see anybody head and shoulders. I'd have to give that a lot of thought in terms of picking one out of there. Van Dijk, I think...
He's been exceptional, and he's transformed Liverpool, generally. You know,
I wouldn't lay it on too. Yeah, you know, there's other reasons there where Liverpool are where they are. Van Dijk has been a...
But from the moment he arrived,
it's been a big, all right, Joe, all right. From the moment he arrived, all right. Don't dramatise it too much.
Can you not just
I take your point. We're not going to argue about it. Without a doubt, he's been a key component in the in the team. And you're right. I don't think people give enough considerations in terms of defenders, in terms of the Player of the Year. Just doesn't come under consideration just because their goals and goal assists obviously clearly can't stand up with players at the other end of the pitch. I mean, it's ridiculous, really. Like, it's almost illogical, like, where there hasn't been a strong argument.
Who's the last centre half? Paul McGrath did in 93. This is what I'm saying. Paul McGrath did in 93. One Players Player of the Year. Giggs was Young Player of the Year that year.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think after that. It couldn't be all the way back to Paul McGrath, could it?
It's got to be. It was John Terry potentially, must have been in it. Even Terry, I don't remember.
I don't think he was.
Maybe a nomination, and that was when he was at his height. Ferdinand wouldn't have won it.
Right, I've got it here for you. Mo Salah last year, Kante the year before that, Mahrez the year before that when Leicester won, Eden Hazard the year before that, Luis Suarez, Gareth Bale in 13,
yeah,
Van Persie in 12, Gareth Bale in 11. Bale won it twice. Wayne Rooney in 10, Giggs in 09. That was a lifetime achievement.
Strong candidates there, don't get me wrong.
Ronaldo, Steven Gerrard 06, John Terry 05.
John Terry, was it?
John Terry 05. And then you're going right back the way through. Roy Keane in 2000. Ginola in 99.
Oh.
That was a joke.
What player?
Shearer won it in 97. Les Ferdinand.
Are you going to go back with this show? Where are you going to go?
Yeah. Paul McGrath 93.
Amazing.
So only two, McGrath and John Terry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a fair shout, Van Dijk. I think he'll go close.
Okay. Listen, what a pleasure. You go home and rest up. That coffee yours. I want you to come back 100%
just a tickler, just a little bit of a tickler. I'm not spreading James around the studio.
Touch your flame.
I'm not. It's not true. It's not true. You're only the most contagious within 3-4 days. Well, of recording the bug.
If I catch something, I'll be ringing you. OTBAM is back 7:45 a.m. tomorrow as usual, and then Nathan in tomorrow. John Giles will be with the lads. We'll know the Irish team to face Scotland. Andy Dunn will give his take. Elsewhere this evening, Barcelona and Real Madrid drew 1-1 in the first leg of the Copa del Rey. They'll be at the Bernabeu for the second leg. And most importantly, Tom Dunn is on the way next. Thanks, Kenny.